God. Hi. It's been such a long time since I've sat down and recorded a video, obviously. Hi. I've been teasing on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on there, you totally should because I'm a little bit more active. I've been thinking about this channel a lot for the past 7 months. It's like unfinished laundry, and it's always in the back of my mind that I need to post. I have reminders set on Google Calendar to remind me to post on this channel every Friday. And I think about it so often. This video is going to just be me having an unfiltered discussion, rant. I don't know. I'm just talking to you, the viewer. There's not really a purpose for this other than just explaining rather why I stopped making content and what I'm going to do in the future, because surprise surprise, I am and I do want to come back to this channel because I think that it's very impactful, and I think that it's really cool to have a platform as well as just me as a person wanting to be an artist as a profession. Like, I'm not even an aspiring artist, I'm just an artist. But it's like wanting to do that as a profession. It's so, I feel in this a new generation integrating in technology and stuff like that, in a lot of people's careers, that you have to have a social media presence on some accord. So, yeah, I have just been kind of in this rut with content creation, and I've been having this back and forth. So, I have been having this feeling of like the last video that I posted on this channel, I felt like I put in a lot of effort into it, but not really putting in enough energy into my idea. And I was more focused on getting content out to people, my small audience. And I love all of you who watch this or who don't. Like who are subscribed to me from that girl video. I love you. But it's kind of like trying to get on a consistent basis content out versus it being me authentically presenting as myself or making content that is actually meaningful to me. When I was making video essays, quote unquote, or I was trying to make vlogs, or I was trying to make manifestation videos, I feel like I was just kind of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what stuck. And when that Girls Girl video blew up, I was trying in my mind to make it to where all my content was cohesive, which is obviously good, but I didn't really expect or really want, after some reflecting, that video to be what I was like, what this channel is about, drama, right? Because I did a JoJo Siwa video in a similar fashion, but I didn't want my videos to be centrally about drama or trends in video essays. That's not really what I wanted this channel to be. I've been on YouTube for a while and I failed so many times. I recently got a channel removed that I've had since I was in middle school, and just YouTube would not give it back to me. They just terminated the account, and it's so disheartening. But I say all that to say that I have been on YouTube for a very long time, and I've done content creation for a while. And it's this was the point in time where I was just like, this is something that I've been wanting to do professionally for such a long time. So why don't I just put all of my effort into this and just see what happens? Like, this is kind of I'm throwing up my hands, I'm throwing in the towel. Well, not throwing in the towel, but I'm just throwing up my hands and seeing what happens. And it was really fun, realistically, to just start over a channel. It was scary because I didn't know what to do and I didn't know what I was doing. And I've done YouTube for a while, but I've never really consistently showed my face on the internet. Which leads me to another point too, of me feeling so like seen, like it felt like a magnifying glass was on me when that video about the Girls Girl just like took off. I was not expecting it to, gain that much traction. I thought it was just going to be like, oh, maybe a couple of people, like 1,000 people. I thought it was going to stop there, and I was going to be proud of that. But the amount that it hit and so quickly, like so many people were like interacting, commenting, like all kind of stuff like that, feedback. Like, it was great. It really was. But after that, I kind of had the sense of dread of feeling so anxious about my creation. And it's like there's so many people watching me, and this kind of ties into what I was just talking about, that I have to make all of my content cohesive, or I have to keep matching myself, or I have to keep making content that is what the audience wants versus what I want. And that basically defeats the entire purpose of why I created this channel. So for a while, I've been kind of having this back and forth of like having so much attention on me at one point, and it's like it wasn't even viral. Like people have like 10 million views, on their like first video, sometimes on TikTok. Like people go viral for basically anything. And it was just, for me in my brain, it's the way that I perceived it, and I just did not enjoy it, and it made me feel very dreadful about creating content. And I was trying to experiment, and I was trying to make my content more, I guess, formal than I actually like it to be. Like these sit down, this conversation that I'm having with you, the viewer, right now, is what I actually want my content to be more focused on, versus it being like, this is a formal script and I have to write an essay and I have to do this. It's like, when did the internet get so unfun? Like this is so boring. Like there's no personality to this. Like, oh my gosh. I still want to do video essays like the garden video. Probably not like the girls. I'll probably never make a video like that again. But I obviously do want to do those like artist kind of deep dives into the artist creative process and stuff like that. But my channel is not what it has been, and I don't want it to be that. And that's been keeping me at bay, and it's been this very large task of trying to figure out what this next video should be about, or how should I start, like how should I incorporate my new ideas and try to like flex it into that old content. And it just doesn't work. It's not giving me room to grow. It's not allowing me to feel accomplished in the work that I'm making. Um, and then on top of that, like I said, it was like the view thing too. It was like when you get that high, in the back of my mind, I knew that it wasn't always going to be like that. Views dip, obviously. There's ebbs and flows when it comes to these things. That's just the internet. And the internet, you can just be forgotten about, which is one of my biggest fears. It's like, oh God, like you can put so much effort into something, and then it's so disheartening to see it just kind of fly away in the wind. It's incredibly, like, it destroys a lot of your confidence when it comes to what you want to share on the internet, because it gets to the point where you feel like you're just talking to a wall, and what's the point? But that comes with the territory of content creation. Sometimes I just let these thoughts and these fears and these anxieties overtake me versus keeping that in the back of my mind. But that was so disheartening. Like I felt like, oh my God, like what is the point? And then it was trying to kind of manipulate what ideas that I could put on the channel and would be successful. And it's that idea that the audience comes first versus your own ideas. I think there's a Rick Rubin quote about that, where he talks about like the audience should be last in your process as an artist. And that was something that I was misconstruing because I wanted to get views. Like I wanted to be at the top. Like I wanted to be a successful YouTuber. And I don't think that you necessarily get that from putting so much energy into being so meticulous with your content. I think that it definitely helps, but your there's so much more that goes into that equation than what your YouTube title is about. Like there's so much more about like what the first 100 people are talking about in your YouTube channel. Like these really weird statistics when it comes to YouTube growth. Honestly, they probably do matter in some capacity, but it's just so much to keep in mind, and it makes the process of making content so unfun, like so boring. You just have to be very pedantic, and it's not fun. So yeah, going back to what I was saying before I went off of that little tangent, i I think that the main takeaway that I've learned about like views and what I've been kind of thinking about and reflecting on is that content creation is something that I feel that I should be doing. Creation as an art, not necessarily as social media trying to get like 100 million views on a video. Like I'm not Mr. Beast. I don't want to be. That is more important to me because that's something that I feel so gravitated towards. Like my purpose as a person is to create, and it's to create art. And I think social media is a part of that journey, but it's not where I should be putting everything and all of my energy and all of my focus on. But I do think that it is amazing to build a platform for myself and for something to leave behind, to signify a period of my life where this was something that I was going after. This is something that I was putting an effort into. This is something that I was, proud of. Like, may not be my end all be all with where I want to be in my creative journey, but it's sure a part of it, you know? Um, but yeah, I, that's one thing. And then the next part of that is like, it's so much more meaningful to create a piece of art and produce it, give it out to the universe, and have that be what matters more versus you getting 20 views on a YouTube video or like 10 views. Because regardless of who has seen this, your process of bringing something into life that did not exist before, you creating, having all these different inspirations is so much more meaningful than you focusing and stopping your creativity because only 10 people saw it. And only 10 people is still a lot of people. Like, I don't care what anybody says, like 10 people in a room, that's a lot of people for me, right? Like, I'm introvert, so that's a lot of people. But, it doesn't change the fact 10 people versus 100 people. It doesn't change what you have created. If you are proud of this creation, then I believe that you should put it out. Or I just believe that you should still be creating. And that's something that I've been, like I said, this YouTube channel has just been in the back of my mind for so long because I have not been creating, I have not been fulfilling my purpose, I have not been putting anything out to the universe, I have not been doing my part. And it's just because I was so discouraged about something that I don't feel really matters. I do feel like, again, it's still so valid to be disheartened about it because it's something like you've carried with you, and it's a part of you, and you think that it's cool, and you think other people, might think that it's cool, and you want to share it. And that's kind of the purpose of art, is to interlink each of us, and it's to make us think. So you have to have other people to think about it. Connection with art is something that is one of its main purposes, but another purpose about that is like you have to create that art in the first place. And another thing is like you don't know 10 years, 5 years, 2 years down the line who could be watching that and who could be seeing that art and thinking how impactful that it is. There's so many videos or so many people that I've seen like where they'll talk about like their YouTube videos, or they'll talk about like their content, and it's like when they first initially released it, it was terrible. I think this is what happened to the band Pinchico, if I'm saying their name right. I'm pretty sure this is kind of what happened to them. Is like they didn't really get that much reception in the initial stages of their musical journey. And then and they released their first, I think it was their first EP or album in 2000. Somebody randomly found it years later, and they started blowing up, and they like reformed the band and started making music, I think in like 2020, 2021. It was sometime during the thing period that shall not be named, but you get the point. So many people release something and it hasn't found its audience yet. Like, it hasn't found its ground yet. And I'm not just talking about myself with this one video. I'm talking about in general. If you're like discouraged about your art not being seen, it's like so much could happen between the time that you post this and you leave it out to the universe. Like, there's so many people that could be gravitating towards it. There's a different audience that you may have not attracted yet that could love this thing, but if you are not creating it, then there's no one that will be able to see it eventually. It's just kind of dead and gone. It's an idea that flew out of the window. It reminds me of David Lynch when he's like, I forgot an idea.
If a person forgets an idea that they love, it's a horror, and it could lead to a real yearning.
Like, that's what it reminds me of. Like your creations, your ideas, like these things are so important. They're so impactful, and it's like the views, that should not be a deterrent for you to continue creating. But that should not be the reason why there are so many masterpieces that are in your mind that get left behind, that are just a, a speck of dust that just get no attention, right? You should still be creating beyond satisfaction of an audience. And I know an audience is so important, but they are not what is the most important. But I would encourage you to kind of adopt that mentality of like, the value of your art does not change dependent on how many people view it. The value of your art is that you were able to produce it, and it doesn't matter if you feel like it's an incomplete, like it's a piece of work that you have made. And pacing yourself in making these pieces, like when you have an impulse, when you have an idea, it's so important to create that and put it and produce it, because that is how you get better. First of all, at producing things is by doing it, but on top of that, it's such a satisfaction that you have something to look back on, that you were not regretful, because that's how you become bitter, is by not showing up for yourself and producing content, and not creating what it is that you desire to do. And then after a while of not doing that, and this is kind of what I ran into, is like, I don't know what I'm doing with this YouTube channel. Like, I haven't recorded a video in 7 months. I know it's not a long time, but like, you have to relearn how to do these things, and you can get so clogged, like mentally drained from having so many ideas in your mind that you never execute. It's like you're carrying 10 tons on your back, like you're carrying a heavy load. um and it really weighs you down, because you cannot grow when you're being weighed down like that. There's no direction that you can go other than underneath. I've needed to make and post this video for such a long time. I may like very minimally edit this, because I feel like it's gonna make me procrastinate more if I have to like sit down and like edit it. Like, it's just a matter of getting back into the groove and the flow of things. But I think that it's just more impactful for me. And this is what I want to create. This is what I want to be proud of, is that I'm looking back at a body of work that means so much to me, that is speaking for me even when I'm not here, right? Like, that's what's more impactful for me than making like 10 basic productivity tips that I've been hearing regurgitated 10 different times. Like, I don't really care. And I'm sure most of the audience doesn't care either. You have to take time to integrate these different ideas and to spend time like fleshing them out, like producing them. You know what I mean? I feel like I'll still make videos where I'll look back and I'm not proud of them, but it's not because of, you know, it's not because I was trying to rush and create them. It's more because my skill level wasn't at par as what I thought it was. You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay. I pretty much like got everything that I wanted to say out. I'm looking at my computer. I never stopped creating. I've been creating since I was a child. Like, so much all the time. That was always on my mind. It was like that in business. Those things go hand in hand. And I still want to create on this channel. Like, this is what I want to do. And I think the next direction that I want to take this channel is in a more art focused, more kind of, I, I don't want to say esoteric, but like more unfiltered way that I feel and the way that I'm being. And I want to take things that I'm consuming and produce better work, because I'm consuming better things, as well as I'm putting more effort into fleshing out my own ideas and not just trying to make self help videos and like focus solely on that. Cause it's just not me anymore. Like, I don't feel the same. And there's so many videos, like, if you're in a rut, I feel like they were very personally contributing to my decision to come back to this channel. Like, they helped. I was already going to come back to this channel, but they helped speed it up. I'm going to leave them linked below. I'm not going to say them because I don't know if like the creators want their videos attached to mine, but I'll leave it in the description. Anyways, if you want to see what I've been up to, kind of, I post more on Instagram. I also have a TikTok now. I made a Nosferatu inspired outfit. Like, I thought it was so cool. Like, I thought that movie was so interesting. I thought it was so beautiful. I thought that all the actors just did such an amazing job in their roles. And the symbolism, I know a lot of people just did not get caught like did not catch the nuance and like the symbolism in that movie. And a lot of people are used to like the whole Marvel idea that villains have to have some sort of reason why they're villains. It's like no, like Count Orlok is just evil. Like guys, Orlok is just bad. Like he's just not a good person. He's not even a person. He's a demon. I'm pretty sure. Shameless plug, but I do post more on my Instagram than anything. I think that'll be my second like main platform or like my initial platform that I want to start posting on more frequently. But um, yeah, I've yapped a lot. Okay, I gotta go. I love you. Please drink something good today. I have some water here. Eat something good today. Tell someone that you love them. So corny. But I'm being so genuine. Yeah, bye.